It was an ordinary afternoon in Enugu, the kind where the city hums with its familiar rhythm. Cars rushed past, phones rang, people hurried in and out of buildings. And tucked between them, a small neighborhood bank quietly went about its day. But inside, behind the calm counters and glass doors, a small storm was about to unfold. A 92-year-old man had come to withdraw some money, his money, from his own account. But there was a problem. His identification card had expired, and without a valid ID, the bank's rules were clear: no transaction could happen. To the staff, it was simple policy. But to him, it felt like rejection. He didn't understand why the bank was refusing him. Confusion turned to frustration, and frustration to anger. His voice trembled as he argued, his hands shaking, not from rage, but from a sense of helplessness. Unsure how to handle the situation, the bank employees stepped aside to make a difficult call. They dialed the police, not because the old man was dangerous, but because they didn't know what else to do. Within minutes, help was on its way. A police officer soon entered the bank. But what he saw wasn't a threat or a criminal, just a frail old man, defeated and confused, sitting alone by the counter. The officer approached gently, crouching to speak at eye level. He listened, truly listened, as the man explained that he only wanted to access the money he had worked his whole life to save. The officer could have asked him to leave. He could have cited the rules and walked away. But instead, he chose compassion. He placed a gentle hand on the old man's arm and said, "Come with me." Then, guiding him carefully, the officer led him out of the bank, not to a holding cell, but toward a solution. At the police station, the officer helped the man through the process of renewing his identification. What might have been a mountain of paperwork became a small hill, easily crossed with the right help. Within minutes, the 92-year-old held a brand new ID card in his trembling hands, and with it, the key to his independence. Without wasting time, the officer drove him straight back to the bank. They arrived just before closing. The staff welcomed him back with smiles, and this time, there were no obstacles. With his new ID in hand, the elderly man finally received the money he needed. As he sat by the window counting the bills, a look of relief and gratitude washed over his face. Nearby, the officer watched quietly, content to have made a difference in someone's day. What could have ended as a story of rules and frustration became one of kindness and humanity, because one person chose empathy over indifference. In a world that often forgets the power of simple compassion, one small act turned despair into dignity.